The dark side of attention. Why people pull away when you chase. Have you ever found yourself chasing after someone's attention, sending texts that go unanswered, planning meetups that never happen, pouring energy into someone who barely seems to notice you? If you have, then you already know the strange and painful truth. The harder you chase, the faster people seem to run. It feels unfair, doesn't it? You think you're proving your love. You think you're showing loyalty, devotion, persistence. And yet, instead of being rewarded with affection, you find yourself staring at silence, distance, or even rejection. This is the dark side of attention. When too much effort doesn't create closeness, but instead drives people away. Why chasing feels natural. To understand this, let's start with the most basic question. Why do we chase in the first place? When we like someone, whether it's romantic attraction, friendship, or even trying to win over a boss or colleague, we naturally want to prove our value. We think, if I just show them how much I care, they'll see I'm worth it. It feels logical. More effort should equal more reward, right? But human psychology doesn't work that way. Our brains don't measure attention in simple quantities. Instead, we measure it in terms of value and scarcity. The more freely something flows to us, the less valuable it seems. The more rare it becomes, the more we crave it. Attention works like supply and demand. When you flood someone with it, you lower its price. When you make it scarce, it becomes priceless. The pursuer-distancer dynamic psychologists have long studied a pattern known as the pursuer-distancer dynamic. It goes like this. One person craves closeness and reassurance. They call, text, push for time together. They pursue. The other person, feeling pressured, instinctively creates distance. They withdraw, delay replies, make excuses. They distance. The more one pursues, the more the other distances. The more the other distances, the more desperate the pursuer becomes. And so the cycle spirals downward until both feel trapped in a game neither truly wants to play. The tragedy is that the pursuer often believes they're showing love, while the distancer only feels suffocation. Both are misinterpreting the other's intentions. The hidden message of over-attention. Here's the painful truth. When you chase too hard, you send an unintended message. That message is not, I care. It's not, you matter. The hidden message is, my happiness depends on you. I can't be okay without your validation. And while that message may come from a place of vulnerability, it rarely inspires attraction. Instead, it creates pressure. And pressure kills desire. Think about it. Would you feel excited about someone who seems to have no life outside of you? Or would you feel weighed down by the responsibility of being their entire source of worth? This is the dark side of attention, when it transforms from affection into neediness and from care into control. Why we push away. What we get too much of. Let's step back and look at this in everyday life. Imagine your favorite dessert. Maybe it's chocolate cake, ice cream, or warm cookies. You crave it once in a while, and when you have it, it's heavenly. Now imagine someone forces you to eat it every day, every meal, every hour. Suddenly what once felt the same principle applies to attention. Too little, and we starve for it. Too much, and we suffocate. Balance is the only state where it feels nourishing. The psychology of space and mystery. Humans are wired to value space. Space creates curiosity. Curiosity fuels desire, and desire keeps relationships alive. When you give someone room to wonder where you are, what you're doing, or why you're not instantly available, that gap becomes fertile ground for attraction. But when every gap is filled with your presence, every text answered before it's even sent, every moment accounted for, there's no space left for longing. No room for imagination, no oxygen for attraction. This is why silence often feels more powerful than words, and absence more magnetic than constant presence. Signs you're chasing. Too much. So how do you know if you've crossed the line? You send multiple texts before getting even one reply. You're always the one initiating plans. You feel anxious when they don't respond immediately. You adjust your entire schedule just to be available for them. You feel relief, not joy, when they give you even a little attention. If any of these feel familiar, it's likely you're over-investing. and your attention has tipped into its dark side. The irony of walking away. Now here is the paradox. The moment you stop chasing is often the moment someone starts noticing you again. Why? Because your attention becomes scarce. Scarcity creates value. Suddenly, they wonder where you are, why you're not reaching out, and whether they might be losing something they took for granted. It's not a game. It's human psychology. We only truly appreciate what we fear we could lose. Reclaiming your power. So how do you escape the dark side of attention? You don't stop caring. You don't turn cold or manipulative. Instead, you redirect your energy. You invest in yourself, your goals, your health, your passions, your friendships. Because here is the truth. The most attractive people are not the ones who give everything to others. They're the ones who already feel complete on their own. Their attention is powerful because it's a gift, not a desperate plea. When you value yourself, your attention carries weight. When you depend on someone else to create your worth, your attention feels cheap. A story of transformation. Let's bring this to life with a story. Imagine a man who constantly chased his partner's attention. He texted her all day, planned surprises, rearranged his life around her. At first, she was flattered, but soon she began pulling back. She felt overwhelmed, smothered, and strangely less attracted. When he finally stopped chasing, when he redirected his energy into his career, his friends, his hobbies, something shifted. He was no longer begging for scraps of attention. He was building a life worth sharing. And suddenly she noticed. She reached out. She missed him. She respected him again. What changed? Not her. Not even their relationship. What changed was the value of his attention. The balance of attention. So what's the lesson? Attention is not about quantity. It's about balance. Too little, and love withers. Too much, and attraction suffocates. Just enough, and connection thrives. Give freely, but not desperately. Offer presence, but also absence. Show care, but keep your self-worth intact. Conclusion. The dark side of attention is not that it's bad, it's that it's powerful. Like sunlight, it can warm or it can burn. When you chase, you lose balance and people retreat. When you stand grounded, giving attention without losing yourself, you create the space where true respect and attraction can grow. So the next time you feel the urge to chase, pause. Ask yourself, am I giving this attention because it is natural and balanced, or because I'm afraid of losing someone? If it's fear, step back. Breathe. Invest in yourself. Because the more you value you, the more others will value the gift of your attention. If you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.